Big Fight, sponsored by 666bet.com.
Right guys, fire away your questions for Nathan.
Nathan, I know you didn't mention it, you don't want to use it as an excuse, but was there a problem with your right hand?
Yeah, a few people have said that early in the early rounds I caught Tony on the forehead with the right hand, and I kind of abandoned it from, I think it was about 3 rounds in, but I just stayed on the jab and peppered on the jab really, because it was quite comfortable on the jab in the early rounds. I was just jabbing, moving, just tipping in with a jab, making it easier for myself, winning the early rounds. I think I won maybe 5 of the first 6 rounds, and then I started slowing on my feet, and the reason why, I think I'm 25 pounds heavier now at cruiserweight, and I'm carrying 25 pounds of muscle, and it gets difficult to carry that for 12 rounds, and I started slowing the second half of the fight on my legs. Tony started using his natural weight advantage, and just started pressing on me for the second half. So it was literally a fight of 2 halves. First fight I boxed, second fight I just stayed flat-footed on the ropes and Tony pressing on me, and it was a close fight. One judge had it my way, 2 judges had it Tony's way. Like I said from the start, this would be a replica version of the first fight, but a little bit more power. And I've come to the Echo Arena twice now. We've had 2 great fights. So maybe, it's 1 apiece. Maybe we should have a final decider. They're always going to be close fights between myself and Tony. So I've come to the Echo Arena in Liverpool twice. Maybe it's time for him to come to Wales and we can have a final decider.
Nathan, what you were saying there, you having to reconsider the move up? Do you think you have to move back down?
If I'm being honest, and people in boxing know, and I know personally, I'm not a true cruiserweight. I can try as much as I want, but I'm not a real proper cruiserweight. But I give it my best. I'm trying to pump into the weight as best as I can because I'm caught in between weights. I'm a little bit big for light heavy, but I'm too small for cruiser. So I'm caught in between. There's a 25 pound weight difference. There is an option of going back down. That's definitely an option. Going back down to cruiser, going back down to light heavy, or we can stay. And there's going to be options out there. There's world title fights. Hernandez or Falabi are fighting. Maybe they want a challenger for the world title, or Cleverly Bellew 3. It's a final decider. So that's an option.
Nathan, do you think if you didn't damage the hand, it would have been a different fight in the second half?
Maybe so, but I don't want to, bring that into it really and just use it as an excuse. It's happened. It's boxing. Those grand gloves. Wow, it's like you may as well just go in bare knuckles. It's crazy. The padding on those gloves is it's like a bare knuckle fight in those gloves. So it's happened. And I thought I was winning on the jab anyway, so I don't want to use that as an excuse.
Did you feel the difference in Bellew's power?
I got to be honest, the power wasn't really an issue. It wasn't really an issue. I was never hurt in the fight. Caught me with a few shots, but I was never in trouble. Never in trouble. I rode a lot of shots. The power was never an issue for me. It was second half of the fight, the weight. We got to be honest. He's a heavyweight coming down. I'm a welterweight coming up, and just that natural heaviness pressing on me the second half of the fight. I just couldn't quite keep him off, and he knew that. He knew what he was doing.
Eddie, are you convinced from tonight that it could potentially, if it was a third fight, it could do the Millennium Stadium?
No, at least it wasn't the greatest fight. I thought it was a decent fight. It took a while to catch fire. It was a bit technical the first 5 or 6 rounds, and then it warmed up. I think Nathan is giving away a lot of attributes at cruiserweight. Tony, we always know that he's the more natural cruiserweight. I think he could probably still make light heavyweight. But it's where the big fights lie. That's what he wants. He wants the big fights. And if that's number 3 with Bellew, or if it's moving back down to light heavyweight, to go again. I think one thing that's happened with Nathan is he had a big defeat to Kovalev, and I think he's now got back in the game, even though he lost tonight. You know, he had 2 fights up at cruiserweight, had a big fight now, but I think he's back in the groove again. So I think he's going to need a little bit of time reflection with Darren and you know, the team, and just see what he wants to do. I think it's all about hunger and desire. There's big fights for him at every weight, but I think he needs to find whether he's a natch. You know, he is right operating at cruiserweight. You know, he's definitely not as big and strong as the likes of Huck, certainly. You know, even Bellew. You know, you saw probably 8, 9 and 10 round, it was draining out of him because Tony was just using his size and his presence to just lean on him and fight on the inside. And you know, that was really the turning point in the fight, because when he was moving, he was beating Tony to the jab and he was outboxing him. But when strength become involved and general size, that's when he was becoming unstuck in the fight. So I think him and Darren will go away and see which weight they want to operate at, rather than, you know, which is the biggest fight for them. I think they need to be at the right weight. All right, guys. Thank you very much. Cheers.
See you guys.